Doodle ball,
Dino Ball,
doodle ball,
Dino Ball,
doodle ball.
Dino Ball, episode 36. Welcome back. We're going to get into topics today. There's going to be some fun ones, and there's going to be some depressing ones. So let me start with some depressing news as a Yankees fan. Let's talk about the World Series.
World Series.
Zach,
Woo!
on our last pod, we were discussing predictions for the World Series, and I said Dodgers versus Yankees would be quite possibly the best matchup for the MLB from a marketing perspective, from a money perspective, and it seems to be working because I think it's like one of the most watched World Series in a while. Um,
I saw that too. Yeah.
so before I'm gonna be ranting for a while, so I want Pap
No,
to
no, no.
kind
I wanna talk about a few
of okay.
things. We haven't really talked about this like on the side or anything like we
Okay.
normally do. So I kind of want to like get your thoughts on certain things
Okay.
rather than you just go on and
Oh, yeah,
on
you
because
can you
like
can go ahead interview me.
interview you.
Interview me.
Okay. So I haven't talked to you post. I'm gonna start for game one.
Okay.
I haven't talked to you and I haven't heard your thoughts on what took place in game one.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it was a good game, back and forth for the longest time. Not really, but like sort of. Uh, Kike scored the first run. That was okay. Stanton, doing, he's cementing his legacy. Let me tell you that. I don't know that team. That guy is putting the team on his back. When nobody's doing something, he's doing something. So he's when he hit that home run, because I was watching it with our other friends. Um, dude, unbelievable the run Stanton is going on in these playoffs. He's just built for the playoffs. Certain people are built for the playoffs, and he's definitely one of them. But there was a fatal error in that game. And I think it's a lot of questionable things, other than all the runs that were scored and stuff like that. It was 3-2 in the ninth. Um, and I believe you guys had two outs, right? Two outs, bases loaded. Verdugo made like some stupidly insane catches.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It's
I
not,
think
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
one in the eighth, one in the ninth to like falling out of bounds, which unbelievable catches. Like I'm sitting there and I have my mouth like on the floor. Like that was crazy that he actually came up with those balls. Then you guys walk Mookie for Freeman
Mm-hmm.
and you bring in Nestor Cortez.
Yeah.
So that's more or less where I want to start. Like,
Okay.
what is your thoughts on that? On like the Yankees bringing in Cortez after he hasn't pitched in weeks
Mm-hmm.
in live ABs.
So I would have put in Tim Hill, obviously like after the fact. Like it's easy to say I would have put in Tim Hill, because that's what everyone was saying. But like you can ask, Mark to my right. You could ask other people. Like I said before the Grand Slam, I was like I would have put in Tim Hill. So that would have been my number one. Um, I think I saw a stat. It's either Mookie Betts or Freddie Freeman is like 0 for 5 in their career against Tim Hill. It's one of the two. I don't remember. But Tim Hill has been arguably one of the best relievers for the Yankees this postseason. He's been great. So I would have put him in over a guy that hasn't, pitched in a month. But at the end of the day, I don't blame Nestor for it because he can only do what he can coming off an injury and being out for a month. That decision lays more so in the hands of Aaron Boone. So that's where the blame kind of has to get put in that scenario. However, had they gotten Freddie Freeman out, the narrative would have been entirely different. And it would have been how incredible of Nestor Cortez to come back after a month in the World Series and strike out Freddie Freeman with the bases loaded to win game one. The narrative would have been totally different. So, if Nestor got the out, Aaron Boone would have been looked at as a genius, but unfortunately he didn't. So the standard switches, and now Aaron Boone gets a lot of hate for it for not bringing in Tim Hill, and Nestor has been receiving a lot of hate, which I don't think he should receive because once again he can only do what he's told to do.
Hmm.
And I didn't really care too much about walking to get to Freddie Freeman. I mean, lefty lefty. You
Yeah,
know, it
no,
is
that
what it
wasn't really
is.
a problem. Well, I
Yeah.
didn't I didn't think walking. I mean, you're going to be facing an
Yeah.
MVP candidate or
I,
an
I
MVP
yeah,
player
I would
regardless of
have
what you did.
I would have rather had faced Freddie on one leg than Mookie Betts in that scenario, a
Yeah.
lefty on a righty. So I mean that um I wasn't really too like upset about. It's just maybe the thought process behind bringing in Nestor was a little bit of a problem. And
Yeah.
it's 3 to
I,
2. I think it was 2 outs or was it 1 out? I don't.
it was 2 outs
Yeah,
in when Freeman came up. But like
they yeah.
that's another like I agree with you like wholeheartedly like for starters like Nestor hasn't pitched in a long time, right? And
Mhm.
like the thought process of Aaron Boone to just slap him into that situation and think that it'll come out in the Yankees' favor is actually just I don't know. It's bad management. That's what it is. I think personally, I do think you should have gone with the other lefty, Tim Hill, in that
Goat.
scenario because like, bro, you can't you can't expect someone who who hasn't pitched in that long that amount of time to just come into a game altering appear like this is probably one of the most high pressure situations he's been in a while, and it's game one of the World Series. Like usually game ones are really important, just like game threes are really important
Yeah.
of any series. So I don't necessarily think that Nestor Cortez being just thrown in regardless of lefty lefty matchups. That's just mind boggling to me. Um, but like also I want to touch base on like your thoughts on Aaron Judge, not just we'll get into game two, but game one Aaron Judge and his
Mhm.
approach to the plate.
Yeah. So I will make it known that if the Yankees do not win the World Series, the entirety of the blame should be put on Aaron Judge, not Brian Cashman, not Aaron Boone. It should 100% be placed on Aaron Judge because you have guys like Giancarlo Stanton who gets so much crap in the regular season and has gotten so much crap throughout his entire Yankees career, and he still steps up every October. And his mindset, Giancarlo Stanton's, it's incredible. Or if you just listen to his interviews, the ways he composes himself and he talks about October, like you can see like that is a guy that truly cares and knows the pressure and wants to perform and wants to win a ring. And you look at a guy like Aaron Judge, who's supposed to be the face of the Yankees, the face of the league, one of the golden childs of Major League Baseball, and you don't get that same vibe. And I feel like he doesn't understand or he's just not taking it as seriously. I'm sure he wants to win, but I don't think the weight is affecting him as much as a guy like Giancarlo Stanton. So Aaron Judge needs to be better. He's expanding the zone too much. He looks like a chopped liver in the plate. And with a really good Dodgers lineup, Aaron Judge, having Aaron Judge in that Yankees lineup would be a game changer. But unfortunately, he's just not there anymore. He's not there. He's just people are literally walking Juan Soto so they could face Aaron Judge. And that's just such a crazy statement to say. Like Juan Soto is incredible, don't get me wrong, but people are
Yeah,
literally
he
walking batters so they can face Aaron Judge because they know they can get him out. And Judge
Judges
cost
just
us a
looked
couple games, yeah.
he just looked so bad at the plate. Like
He
I don't know
always does in
what's
October.
I don't know what's going on. Like but he was on a good stretch I think in Cleveland like he like in terms of clutchness and actually being there for the team, being the captain that they, assigned. I don't get how everything he's done in the regular season kind of just goes out the window in the postseason. And like you would think like I don't know, maybe with the pressure of this narrative going on, how it is every year, like Aaron Judge is the best regular season player, but when it comes to the postseason, he's just not there and he's not present in the playoffs. I don't get it. Like, how could you strike? He struck out so much in
Yeah.
game one. I did not watch a lot of game two, but I did see the highlights from game two. So I guess if you want to shift into that, we can. Game two last night. Something wild to me. You guys. You guys go down 1-0 to Tommy Edman.
Mhm.
Tommy Edman gets, the kind of the ball rolling in the second inning with the home run. Which is dude, he is ridiculous. Like to think about the Dodgers lineup, and I said this even when they were in the NLCS. You know, from head to toe, there's just so much talent on that roster. But like their top three, those are expected to be their most productive guys. But then you got Tommy Edman at nine, the NLCS MVP. And like, bro, I don't get how he said it himself. He's not going for power in an interview before the game. He goes, "I'm not going for power. I just want my swing to be longer to drive in doubles, do doubles and singles, and if they end up being home runs, they end up being home runs." So he's been just huge for the Dodgers. But you guys answered right back with Soto's bomb. Um, and then of course, just unfortunate enough that they hit back-to-back home runs with Teoscar and then Freeman again. I don't know what's your thoughts on Rodon's outing yesterday?
Um, so we still have him for 4 more years after this year, so that's always fun. But it's the case with Rodon when he gives up a run, he lets it get to him. He lets it affect him, and he just spirals. And that is his problem with composure. And when he, starts to spiral out of control, it just, like I said, it affects him. And we saw that he gave up a run. But then, Soto ties it, and then the moment he gave up a home run to, I think Teoscar, and then Freddie went back to back. Yeah, you can just see, and from that moment on, you just knew like, all right, he's got nothing left. But that's how Carlos Rodon is, and he did the same thing against the Royals. He started off amped, then the moment he gave up a home run to Salvador Perez, he lost it. All of his drive and his motivation was just gone, and he just lost his composure. So that's, you give $162 million to Carlos Rodon to be your dominant number two, to be the guy that was an incredible all-star in San Francisco and Chicago. You're not getting any of that. Um, so it's just painful, but you have to live and die by him. He's your number two, and that you're paying him to pitch in those moments. And unfortunately, it's just he didn't perform, and the Dodgers are just too good. Um, and they lost game two, and now the Yankees are in a hole, down 0-2 going into Yankee Stadium. So regardless if the Yankees want to win the World Series, they're gonna have to do it in Los Angeles. But I'm
Yeah,
hoping I'm hoping that the Yankee Stadium crowd can uh
revive them, sort
yeah,
of.
but it's gonna suck because like
It's a really
you
tough task now. Like you're now in a really hard position to win the World Series.
in 2017 they were down 2-0 against the Astros, or 0-2, and they came back and they won all three at home, making the series 3-2, and then Houston took the last two. So it's not impossible. I
No,
think
not
the
by any
Yankees
means.
the Yankees have been down 0-2 in the World Series before, but the thing is, being down 0-2 is like, okay, if you let the other team win one game, whether it's game three, four, or five, they only need one more to win the World Series.
True.
So the Yankees legitimately need to be somewhat perfect, and they did it 7 years ago. So it's not impossible. And this team this year is a lot better than that team. So, and I think that Astros team is that better than this current Dodgers team? Well, that's not for now. But that Ash, they actually no, they cheated, so it doesn't count actually.
Yeah,
But
no. But just to look at again like last night's game, like you guys had like a golden opportunity in that last inning to
yeah,
to at least tie it.
the Yankees always do that. They give you life in the last inning, they reel you back in, and then they just don't perform. Aaron Judge, a rally killer, striking out. Like he's great in the regular season, but like I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. And you call me a terrible Yankee fan, but he sucks. He sucks. Like if you cannot perform in the postseason, you do not deserve to be on the team. You do not deserve to call yourself captain. I think Giancarlo Stanton has shown more captain qualities this postseason run than Aaron Judge has. I
Yeah,
truthfully do, and
I
that's
agree.
not me overreacting. That's just me telling you how it is. I'm a very realistic Yankee fan. I tell you how it is. Aaron Judge blows chunks right at the moment. At the moment, he's terrible.
I
He needs to
mean,
be
but he
better.
still has an opportunity. Like again, this is a long series, so like he still has an opportunity to come back and be that guy for the Yankees, and the Yankees need him now more than ever.
Mhm.
Um,
But if they lose the World Series, whether it's by
he's
one
gonna take
game
a lot of the
or,
blame.
or they get swept, I'm putting all the blame on him. All the
Yeah,
blame because he didn't
it's gonna be
perform.
rough for him if they
He
do
came
end up
up
losing.
he came up bases loaded, I think, at one point and popped up. I don't remember if that was game one or game two. It was one of the games, and he had so and all the previous other games too in this postseason run. He had so many chances to put games away to come up and perform, and he just hasn't done it. And these pitches that he's popping up, striking out on, are pitches that he hits for 500 feet in the regular season. So
Yeah,
I don't understand what is he just lets it goes through his head, and now he's blocking Yankee fans on Twitter, which you probably didn't know that, but he is.
I did not know that. No,
Whether it's
but
him or his PR team, he's just blocking fans on Twitter that are saying bad things about him. I'm not one of them. Trying to remain somewhat optimistic, but he's just clearly letting it get to his head. And
well, what he's got to do, he's got to lock in because for game three is tomorrow night's game, and I although it's not do or die, it is a must win, and I think all the games in the Bronx are going to be must wins for you guys because look, if you let them win one, obviously like you just said before, they're one win away from the World Series. And it's going to be really difficult from here on out, but you know, I as much as I don't like to do this, I'm neutral at this point. So, um dude, the Yankees have such a talented roster. Like you can't lose or not even like put up a fight. Like it has to happen. I think I know in my heart like that this is just the way it has to be because like the series has been hyped up for the longest time too. Like as long as you get things clicking, you guys will be fine. But like you can't rely on like one or two guys to come through. It's got to be the full lineup to in order to actually that like put pieces together to get to the top, like the Dodgers do. The Dodgers, that's what their bread and butter's been. Their bottom of the lineup usually tries to get on base as much as possible, and then they
Mhm.
lead it up for the top.
Yeah,
But
that's another thing too. Is like yeah, a lot of it should be put on Aaron Judge because you're the captain and they feed off of you, like your energy and how you perform. That's the same case for the regular season, but you have guys like Austin Wells is has been terrible.
struggling.
And the problem is you have to play him because Jose Trevino, his defense is a concern, mainly his arm. Like anyone that gets on base, whether it's a single or a double, they're just going to steal off of him because his arm is a noodle. So you have to start Austin Wells because of his defense, and especially an aggressive base running team like the Dodgers. You have guys that can steal. Like you want that defense behind the plate, and like Verdugo has been given so much leeway despite not being the greatest. I mean, his defense is the reason that he's staying in there. But at this rate, throw in Jason Dominguez, throw in Trent Grisham, just throw in Cabrera, throw in someone out there to spark something. Um, Rizzo has been fine. He's been pretty impressive. Volpe's been putting good wood on the ball, but like just the bottom of the lineup as a whole, needs to just be better.
It
And
just needs to get to the top. That's
that
that's that's the only thing. Like just keep the chains moving. That's
yeah.
the main goal. And
Yeah.
especially going into LA, like I'm sure your thought process was just as much as mine a few weeks ago. Just you just had to take one. You had to take one. And because that didn't happen, now you guys are in a hole. But like I'm not saying that this is still very much a series. It's still very much anyone's ball game at the moment. Like anything could happen. Like the Yankees could get hot because the fans, you know, it's very much different when you go back home and you're playing playoff baseball in front of your fans. And you guys haven't been home in quite some time now. You guys obviously went to the World Series in Cleveland, so that really wasn't, like that really you weren't home for that. Then you go back to LA because you're on the road again because LA's got the home advantage for the first two games. So you haven't been home in a while. That's my just point blank. You haven't been home in a while. So maybe going home is what you guys need to get back on the right track because like being in front of your fans is a totally different ball game than being
It,
on the road.
it's a big advantage. It's a big advantage for Yankee fans specifically, just because of how rowdy they're known to be and get in the heads of opposing pitchers. So, Otani is historically not great at Yankee Stadium. I know I definitely just jinxed it, but that's just where the stats lie. I've tried so many superstitions, this entire postseason, nothing works. So like, I I'll jinx whatever it is. So he hasn't been good. Mookie Betts always has been a Yankee killer. Freddie Freeman, I guess, likes to torment the Yankees now all of a sudden. Teoscar, always does good against the Yankees. Yeah, so they have the Yankees number, I guess. So we'll see. We'll see how
Yeah.
it goes. See how it goes.
It's gonna be an uphill battle. We know that, but like something's got to give. Something's got to give with the team, and something's got to start clicking where you guys could be able to be in that position to grab victories because I don't know. Something's got to click. But I don't know if you want to dwell on this anymore. Obviously, game 3 is tomorrow night. Um we will be watching. You will be watching especially. It should be a good game. I don't believe I think I know the starters. Do we know the starters?
It's Clark. I
Bu-
just looked it up. It's Clark Schmidt and Walker Bueller,
Bueller.
I
Yeah.
believe. Let
Okay.
me fact check that.
So this is actually maybe a bigger game than you think because if you get the win tomorrow night, I'm pretty sure, almost 90% sure, that game 4 will be a bullpen game. So tomorrow night,
Yeah.
tomorrow night should be the goal should be attack the starter and get him out as quickly as possible so that Dave Roberts has to go to his bullpen really fast and you could wear down as many arms as possible for the next game. And then you'll be in good if you could do that and you could grab the win in game 3, I think you're looking in good shape for game 4. But again, a lot of things got to go right for that to happen.
Yeah, it's Clark versus Bueller, and then I believe it's Luis Heel versus bullpen day. So they just have to take one. You just cannot get swept. Otherwise, they'll the whole AL Central merchant narrative starts. So we'll see. That's about it. Just you guys will probably be seeing this the day of Game 3
Yeah,
of the World Series,
you'll
right?
see this tomorrow.
Yeah.
So,
So that's my thoughts going into Game 3. This I have not given up hope. But if it goes down 3-0, it's hard to still have hope. But
yeah.
it just
It's
it,
going
it's
to be
just
really hard to come back if you go down 3-0.
it's not an impossible feat, but it's like a close to impossible feat. It's only ever happened once in MLB history. So
Yep. So, with that being said, Matt, do you want to lead us into other topics, our second topic of the day?
yeah, sure. Now we're gonna dive into the NBA world now. Um, the NBA is officially back. That is great fun to hear for some fans. I'm a Nets fan, so is it really fun? Who knows? But let's talk about the 76ers because it is not always sunny in Philadelphia. That was a good joke.
That was a good joke.
That was a really good joke. Joel Embiid and Paul George, they've been out. The Sixers, are they in trouble? Do they trust Tyrese Maxey to carry the workload until they're back? Now, the thing with Paul George, I don't understand. What was his injury, Zach? I think you know. I don't
It
remember what
was
it
it
was.
was his left knee.
Hyperextended left knee, right?
I believe
I think it
so.
was.
I'm not entirely sure, but it was definitely something with his left knee.
I think it was the hyperextended left knee. I remember seeing the clip. Look up the clip for those that want to see it. Make sure you
I'll
don't
just
look at the Olympics injury. But he has a hyperextended left knee. We're gonna go with for now. Zach's doing some fact checking, and then Joel Embiid's just out saying he's never playing back to backs again, which is crazy to say because keep in mind the NBA
Bone.
has
It was a
a
bone bruise on his left
bone
knee.
bruise. Okay, so Paul George has a bone bruise. I had
Mhm.
that when we used to play soccer. That's what I had. I was out for
Yeah,
like 2 weeks,
bone bruise.
roughly. Yeah, I had a bone bruise. It's not fun, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Paul George will be fine in like a week or two. And then Embiid, for whatever reason, is out and he's no longer playing um, back to backs, which is crazy because in the NBA, you need to play at least 65 games to be eligible for awards and all NBA teams. So if Joel Embiid is no longer playing back to backs, that can put a huge detriment into his potential to win awards.
Whoa, where have I been?
You
That
didn't know
that's
that?
honest. That's honestly news to me. I think I might have just glossed over it when we were setting up for this podcast.
You did not know that? I saw your
He's not
face. You
playing
like,
back to backs.
yeah, Embiid came out and said that
What
he's
is
probably,
going on?
yeah.
Sixers fans, you guys got to be worried at least at some point. Like
Mhm.
that's a huge like
Yeah.
blow to them.
And
I don't get that. And we don't even know what injury, like what is wrong with Joel Embiid because nobody's come out and directly said, "Hey, this is what's wrong with him. This is why he's been out for all this time." You know, their media's trying to point back to the Olympics. I don't think it was that, obviously. Because we didn't hear anything about that. And then going into the camp, the training camp before the season opened, like he didn't play a preseason game.
yeah.
He didn't do scrimmages. He wasn't doing like contact drill. Like I don't get it. I don't understand what's wrong with him. And I know a lot of Phillies fans are definitely frustrated. Like
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get
I,
it.
I
Why
think
are they not on the court? That's the
the
biggest question.
the thought process. Well, we know Paul George obviously why, but
Paul
I think
George, yeah.
the thought process with Embiid is just to keep him healthy for the postseason, and because he was hurt last postseason, like he was playing through injury. So if they can keep him healthy, and I guess Embiid's at the point where he just wants to win, that if it means sitting out of back to backs and sacrificing like awards and all NBA teams in like an all-star nod, then I think he's willing to do that if it means to win a championship. But I don't know if you saw the NBA is actually investigating the 76ers now, or like
I did see that.
they're investigating like his play, his usage or whatever. So it's
Yeah, because they
definitely
don't we don't know what's wrong with him. That's like the I don't so the NBA has every right to do that and sitting out of back-to-back games is honestly like inexcusable. Like it's kind of BS at this point because you know this is a person that means so much to this franchise and I know Tyrese Maxey's frustrated. I mean he just got questioned about it last either last game or the first game of the year. Um and he's putting a lot of pressure of this year on himself. Like, you know, like if he doesn't show up, then the team around him is not going to show up. So he's putting a lot of this year's pressure on him. And you know, you've seen a lot of growth out of Tyrese Maxey over the years. So, um, yeah, like it shouldn't be all about like I know he was frustrated about the media asking him about Joel Embiid because like he responded to them like yeah, every game shouldn't be based on like if we lose or not based on Joel Embiid being in the game or not. Like it's
yeah.
not about Joel Embiid. If he's not there, he's not there. I have to step up in order for us to be better. And I agree with him, but they gotta get something back at some point. So Paul George, I know they're making their way back to playing, but him not being in back to back games is just it's blowing my mind right now. I'm sure a lot of Philadelphia fans are pretty angry about that.
Yeah, well, they still got it's only 2 games into the season. They got a long season. Sixers fans were projected to be one of the better teams in the NBA. Let Paul George cook maybe. I mean, he'll probably be the third option, which having Paul George as your third option is kind of crazy. Let Maxey cook, keep letting him develop, and then hopefully when Embiid does play, that the Sixers are going to have a scary team and compete with some teams in the Eastern Conference, preferably or most notably the Boston Celtics. So we'll see. But I think unless you want to go to the next topic, unless you got anything else to say.
We could go to the next topic. A little bit of a shocker here. Not really, but JJ Redick is has been doing the damn thing. Darvin Ham was a sham. I know you've been wanting me to say that.
Good
Um,
line. Good line.
JJ Redick, man. He looks good. He looks good as the Lakers coach. Can't complain about anything. Everything looks pretty solid fundamentally. Obviously, you're gonna touch on this with the ball screens and just the ball movement in general. Like they just look more fundamentally sound. And I don't they haven't looked like that in a while. And Matt, if you want to continue off
Yeah.
with
Mhm.
JJ's great start.
That's it. JJ has looked phenomenal as the head coach so far. Granted, yes, we are only 2 games in. JJ Redick is a known psychopath, but hey, I mean, if it gets the job done, then, good for the Lakers. Friends with LeBron, he has the locker room. And there was a clip of like a guards versus bigs practice they did, or like a drill, and there was a clip of JJ Redick guarding Jackson Hayes, and it's really cool when you have the coach get involved and play with the players in practice, because you can see everyone in the background was super hyped and super into it. And JJ just seems to have the locker room. He's built this culture over the course of the off season, over the course of the start of the NBA season. Everyone has just like seemed to just commit to him, and they look like they're loving him. Um, and then on top of that, the ball movement on the court has been phenomenal. They're doing backdoor passes. They're doing screens, everything this was never there with Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham never once had this team at all. They all just looked like they didn't care. I think LeBron was just going home and just, crap talking Darvin Ham to his, family, because I think Bronny made a comment about it, which is really funny to think about. But Darvin Ham just did not have a good grasp with this team, and JJ has seemed to done it in such a short time. And I would coach like JJ, get involved in practices, get to their level, make these personal relationships, and then, make these fast paced, ball movements and these screens and these plays. And the Lakers' goal every game now seems to just be tire out the other team, which, if they are a very well conditioned NBA team, then they can win ball games. They can win ball games. But until then, we are only 2 games in. Let them keep playing. But if LeBron and AD are healthy and JJ keeps doing his thing, coaching wise, plays wise, then I think the Lakers could be a sneaky threat, a sneaky dark horse in the
I
Western Conference.
I think so too. You know, the Lakers are doing something we haven't seen them do in quite some time now, and that is they're playing team basketball.
Yeah.
It's no longer like last year they were reliant on maybe one or two guys like AD or Braun to be that guy and to have a crazy game to propel the rest. Like now it's everybody's getting involved with the game. And again, yes, it's very way too early to be singing their praises. You got to give flowers when they're due, and they're due to JJ Redick for the
Yeah.
first 2 games. But it's way too early to be like, oh my God, like look way down the line, like this team's going to the playoffs. This team's gonna make a run for the championship. Like you can't make too early predictions. But so far so good. They look pretty good as of right now, and let's just hope that they continue. But yeah, heading into our next topic, we want to just talk about the Golden State Warriors.
The Warriors. Let's do it.
So at the moment, you know, they look they look so I don't know. I don't know. They look iffy. And I feel like a lot of it has to do with certain aspects of the team. This obviously is not a championship roster. We've established that could have been. It could have very much could have been. If
Yeah.
they decided to get Laurie Markkinen and not let him stay on the Jazz, but they had Buddy Hield, and I just want to mention, dude, like this narrative about him being the new Splash Brother. How long is this gonna last? Like how long? How long can he put up 20 points?
Oh,
I
I
I
mean, yeah, I
don't
don't
I
know.
don't know. And that's what I really want to mainly touch on about like the Warriors and stuff. Like I don't know how long this could keep up. Obviously Clay. went to the Mavs, and he's been doing his thing over there. In Dallas, he just set in game one of their season. He set the record for the most threes in the home opener or debut game. So like, dude, he's been balling over there. So like, I don't know. I don't know. What do you think about the Warriors so far?
Yeah, no, I agree that they're not a championship team, but had they added a star this offseason, a guy like Lauri Markkanen, and I even know they were in rumors for Paul George, had they added one of those guys, plus the depth that they've added this offseason, I think they definitely could have, like the Lakers, been a solid dark horse. I don't know why I can't say that. The Warriors would have been a dark horse. I personally do like what they did this offseason. I love the Buddy Hield move. I think he fits the Warriors perfectly. And kind of the Steve Kerr scheme with the whole Splash Bros narrative. They added Kyle Anderson. You have Gary Payton again. You have Trace Jackson. You know, he's been good, a good young guy. Kuminga and Moody, you know, those are also good young guys that can develop. And of course, you have the leadership and defensive abilities of Draymond Green. That is a very deep team. And I think if they did just have one more star next to Curry, I think they could have made some noise. But you know, Curry hasn't been all that great. It's only been 2 games, so I don't really want to say he's washed or anything like that. It's 2 games. Start off slow.
17. So he had
Yeah.
17 game
He,
one. He had
it,
20 game two.
it's just not it's not what we hold standards for Curry. Like we know he's better than that, but like I said, it's 2 games. Don't look into it at all. He'll probably be better. Buddy
Yeah.
Hield, Buddy Hield at max was always a role player. So is he going to stay averaging 20 points per game? Probably not. But unless the Warriors can really unlock something out of him, then maybe he can average 20 points a game.
Yeah.
But,
And
you know,
I just feel not to go back to what I said about like them being iffy. What I mean just to clarify on that, what I mean is again, like I don't know how long this could last. Like right now, the season is very very young. Obviously 2 games. They're 2-0. Um, and I just don't know how much longer, like how long could the good times roll? Really, it's just where my head's at. Like obviously, dude, Buddy Hield is has been a little bit of a blessing for them so far, but again,
yeah,
it's just about him. If he could maintain where he's at the whole season, then this Buddy Hield move could be one of the greatest moves they've made in quite some time now.
yeah,
Um, but it's just about him being consistent. Like his consistency is probably the basis of the Warriors' success, along with Curry. Like if Curry could stay healthy all year and have a really good year along with the some of the other guys out there. I think I talked about in one of the articles I've written in the past about Jonathan Kuminga. If he could step up into a much bigger role, and he's got that
yeah.
veteran leadership of Draymond, even though he gets ejected here and there. Um, so a lot of it's gonna be dependent on like how other players mesh together and consistency um with the Warriors. So you never really know. You can't predict the end of the season before it happens. So it it's gonna be a ride, and it's gonna be something that we're gonna be keeping close tabs on because we'll probably talk about it again if things start to go south, or we could be looking at a pretty dangerous Warriors team down the line. Who knows? Who knows? But again, name of the game for them is consistency. But Matt, if you want to lead us into our final topic of the day, you can go ahead.
Let's do it. This is a basketball football topic. It's not really meant to be taken seriously. This is kind of more for fun. So let's just talk about it. Anthony Edwards said that if he wins a championship in the next 3 to 4 years, he's going to go play football in the NFL. So it begs the question. First off, will Minnesota win a championship in the next 3 to 4 years? Second, is Anthony Edwards good enough to play in the NFL? And third, if he is, what team is he going to go to? So let's talk about the first one. Will Minnesota win a championship in the next 3 to 4 years? Zach, what's your answer?
I think they got the talent for it, so I'm
But
gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and say yes.
you think the Timberwolves will win in the next 3 to 4 years?
Next 3 to 4 years, I
Okay.
think they have a very good shot in doing that.
Okay.
Maybe
I
not, probably towards the tail end of that 3 to 4 years
Yeah.
though. Like probably the third or fourth year.
Yeah.
That's my guess because
Okay.
at the moment, like I said, I still think Boston Celtics are
Yeah.
the best team in the NBA.
My answer is I don't think they're going to win the next 3 to 4 years. I think they're very good, but I think a lot needs to go right for them to win a championship because you have the Thunder. I will take the Thunder to probably be the 1 seed at least 3 of the next 4 years in the Western Conference, and I do think the Thunder are at least going to win one of those championships in that time span. And I also think the Celtics are going to go back to back this year. And who knows if like a young team like the Magic make a huge jump or the Pacers or something along those lines. I just that's no hate to the Timberwolves. I just think that there are other teams that are better. And granted, obviously we are 2 games into the season, so maybe Julius Randle and Dante really make that team so much better. We'll find out. We can always come back to this, but right now I'm gonna go with no. I don't think they will win a championship
Whoa,
in the next 3 to 4 years. I don't.
whoa, okay, okay. I mean, it could very much go your way, but I
Yeah,
just thought they had a good enough talent. I mean,
they
maybe
definitely do, but I just think other teams are better and more well positioned.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. Will he be good in football?
Yeah, is he good enough for football?
I don't think it's as easy as he thinks. Like again, it's a totally different sport and totally different in many ways. I just don't think he's gonna be like cut out for football. Like maybe he'll be good as a receiver. I don't know. I think he's bluffing, dude. Like I really don't
Yeah.
think he's going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, I definitely think he was just joking. Like I don't think he even if they do, and I don't think he would go to the NFL, but it's just fun to talk about, considering
Yeah,
Michael
like
Jordan played baseball, so it's kind of
and
fun to think
he
about.
wasn't really that terrific at baseball, let me tell you that.
But Edwards just did some research. He played youth football for the Atlanta Vikings and became one of the best Pop Warner running backs in the country by age 10. And then he switched his focus to basketball because he thought it looked more fun. So apparently Anthony Edwards was actually like kind of tough at football as a kid. And now he's just a lot more athletic than he was when he's a kid. So would he be
Look,
good at football? Maybe, maybe. He's got the athleticism.
he does have the athleticism. He
He would
has the
probably
speed,
he'd
and
probably be one of the most athletic guys in the NFL.
I just don't think it's as easy as a transition as he thinks it is. Like, I think he might be a little out of his mind to think that he could easily transform himself from an NBA player to an NFL player. Um, but I do want to, since you have it up here, um, you have the odds for his next team up here,
Yeah. I don't
and
know where I got these. I just saw them. So don't hate the messenger.
donate the messenger. So I just want to go through these teams. I'm gonna read them off, and you go first. You predict what team you think you could see him on, and then I'll go second. Okay.
Okay.
So you're the teams that are listed for his next team potentially if he goes to the NFL are the Atlanta Falcons, Minnesota Vikings, and this is obviously from like most likely to least likely to go to, right?
Mhm. Yeah, the odds, yeah.
So the Atlanta Falcons, Minnesota Vikings, Dallas Cowboys, Kansas City Chiefs, Las Vegas Raiders, New York Jets, Jacksonville Jaguars, Miami Dolphins, Baltimore Ravens, Pittsburgh Steelers, and then last but not least, the Denver Broncos. What do you think? What team do you think he would play for?
I'm a little torn between the Falcons and the Vikings. So he's from Georgia. For those that don't know, he grew up in Georgia, went to college at Georgia, so it would make sense for him to go maybe home to the Falcons. But he plays in Minnesota now. He's pretty tight with Justin Jefferson,
I was gonna say that too, yeah.
so that would be cool as well. I think that would be such a Jerry Jones thing for the Cowboys to sign an NBA player instead of an NFL player. It just that would be so funny. It makes so much sense. I would cry. Patrick Mahomes would make Anthony Edwards one of the best. He would make him the next Tyreek Hill or something if he plays wide receiver or running back, whatever. He'd be the next Pacheco. Pacheco's Rutgers boy, my goat. But no, I got the Falcons or Vikings. I don't know. I'm not gonna pick either one because this is such a ridiculous topic that
Yeah,
it's not serious. It would be one of those two teams. I'm convinced.
just like you, I'm gonna go with two different options as well. Obviously my first thought was the Minnesota Vikings because
Yeah,
I thought it'd be funny because again, a lot of people compare him nowadays to MJ. And what did MJ do? Went to a Chicago team, played for the White Sox. So that'd be pretty funny to see uh
right.
Anthony
Yeah.
Edwards go
hmm
from Minnesota Timberwolves to the Minnesota Vikings. And obviously that connection with Justin Jefferson, that's one thing. But another thing, I don't know, maybe I'll just shoot it out there. Obviously, like you just said, I thought it would be kind of cool maybe if he just goes to the gauntlet. And what if he went to the Kansas City Chiefs and they won a ring? That'd be insane. That'd be crazy. For him to just make that leap. Um,
Patrick Mahomes.
but and you know Patrick Mahomes would probably make him a really good, like you said, literally may make him
Yeah, he would.
a
Yeah,
really good football player.
he could turn
So
anyone
like
like incredible. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But you know, it's an interesting topic. I don't think he's going anywhere, to tell you the honest truth,
Yeah, he's not. He won't.
because I don't think his basketball journey would be fulfilled if he never won a ring. So I really think he has to do that in order to fulfill his destiny. Um, I don't know. I don't know. It's an interesting thing to think about. What do you guys think? What do you think? Do you think that Anthony Edwards would be good in football? B, what team do you think Anthony Edwards would land on? And C, is he bluffing? Just put a yes or no in the in the comments below.
He definitely is. He has a big ego and he talks a lot. But
Yeah. But with that being said, it's closing time.
closing time.
It's closing time.
Every new begin. That's all I know.
Yep. It's closing time. Thank you guys for watching episode 36. You know, me and Matt always have a blast making these. Sorry for not posting for the past couple days. We've been busy with other outside stuff. So we will catch you guys next week for episode 37. It's going to be a fun one. So we will see you guys